Welcome to Was It Good, the podcast that reviews movies and TV shows. Today we're talking Return of the Jedi. I'm Robbie, joined by my two brothers,
Arjuna,
Krishna,
and our producer,
Michael.
and we are Was It Good?
We are Was It Good?
We are
Was It Good?
You're on an island for that one.
Woo!
And just to clarify, it's Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Episode 6.
As opposed to the other Return of the Jedi.
Exactly the other Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi 2.
Yeah.
Lost in New York.
Jedi, you know?
This time it's personal.
Jedi.
Now, those tuning in and listening, watching, whatever, are probably like, why the hell are you talking about a movie that turned 40 this year? And that's because
It turned 40 this year.
It turned 40 this year, and they're
That's
doing
why.
a re-release, and a bunch of merch and things and stuff came out. So that's why we're talking about it. It's also
Hell yeah.
Christian's favorite movie.
It was for a while when I was a kid. Yeah. How'd you know? I never told you that.
I never told you that. You're becoming more like your father.
Yeah. yeah. So maybe this is a good place to start. So when I was young, super young, when I first saw the Star Wars movies at like 11 or 12 years old, maybe 13, Return of the Jedi was my favorite when I was younger. And then as I've gotten older, Episode 5, which I think is the more traditionally popular one, became my favorite from the original trilogy. So I'm curious to see, like, where does it rank for you guys, and has it changed over the years?
Where does it rank, and has it changed over the years?
Yeah.
Well, the Ewoks have gotten stupider in my mind, so that's
Sure.
a change.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and the reason I liked it when I was young is because I've always been a sucker for the underdog story, right? That's why I like sports movies. And the Ewoks beating the Empire is the ultimate underdog story, right? So that's why I loved it as a kid, you know.
But is
I was
it
like, that's
is
cool.
it them beating the Empire or just beating a small group
Well, I mean,
of
obviously.
morons?
Yeah, but they still beat like a highly technologically powered. They did it with like logs, you know, and
Rope.
my preteen brain was like, that's cool, you know.
That's cool,
Fighting
man.
the power with a bunch of sticks and spears. And you're 3 feet tall, cuddly and furry.
Did you ever, as a child or when you were younger, like want an Ewok as like a teddy bear? Was that a thing?
No, I wouldn't go that far. I wanted like the ATST or a Han Solo action figure.
I wanted the speeder bikes.
Mm.
I thought those were cool.
Classic.
They are
I
Classic
was like,
scene.
that would be cool to have. I would be scared to ride it, but it'd be cool to have.
Ooh.
Would you ever get on a motorcycle?
No.
Why?
Seems scary.
So fun fact, I just remembered this yesterday. So I was in London for a celebration a couple of weeks ago, and at one point, you know, the time difference and everything, you get a little loopy.
Sure.
And, you know, they were serving beer. So I was like, I'll have a beer. So I got really, really loopy. And then I got a marketing email from this company called Super 73 that makes electric bicycles. And they were promoting a promo to pre-order their electric motorcycle.
Boy.
For $73. And I was like, you know what? That's weird. Why not? Give it a try. So,
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm probably going to refund it and return it because I don't need a motorcycle in my life.
Are you gonna try it first?
Do you
gonna try?
do you remember the one wheel?
Yeah.
You remember how much I've used it and loved it and
You use it every day.
every day for all of 2 weeks. Yeah. Does anyone here want that one wheel?
You still have it?
I still have it. I'll literally give it to any of you guys for free. Like,
I'll take it for free.
all right, cool. Everyone gets it. There you go.
Boom.
But you have to use it every day for 2 weeks.
Okay, for free. I mean, it'll cost me a broken arm probably, but
Gives
Ooh.
Learman one wheel next day. Guys, I'm not going to be able to produce for a minute. Why? What happened? Broke my collarbone and my entire left arm.
Jesus. Oh, those things are dangerous,
not
or they
great.
can be.
But anyway, basically what I'm trying to say is one wheel on a motorcycle is like a speeder. So
Not really.
they're dangerous.
Yeah, that's where it ends, I guess.
And they go,
I don't think a one wheel makes that noise.
you make it with your mouth.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. As you lean forward, you like. But going back to this movie and kind of our usual formula here,
Our formula.
how would you describe the movie with a one-word impression?
I'll go. I guess classic. It's a classic. It's classic Star Wars. It's a classic third movie of a trilogy, you know, where the good guys overcome seemingly the craziest odds to win, to beat the Empire. It's like, it's a classic story. It wraps up this classic trilogy, and a lot of other. I'm not saying it invented the structure of the story or the hero's journey or whatever, but at the time was maybe the most popular movie to show the hero's journey or wrap up the hero's journey potentially. So yeah, classic in every sense of the word.
Classique.
We'll talk about this afterwards, which is obviously since 1983 till present day, there's been a bunch more Star Wars content, obviously.
Wait,
There
what?
has?
Yeah, pushing beyond
This is the last Star Wars movie I saw.
Yeah, you wish. The last Star Wars movie you saw was a moron throwing lightning into the sky and then saying that unlimited power. Anyway, Junior, your one-word impression for Return of the Jedi.
I'm going to go with formative. Star Wars, as we've made no secret about, has been formative for our childhoods and understanding of movie and cinema and IP and franchises. And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the original Star Wars trilogy was like the first movie trilogy I ever watched. So it was formative in my understanding, my early understanding of how to tell a story and cinema and film and also like sci-fi too, like Star Wars was my first foray into science fiction, and a lot of my science fiction love is based in Star Wars too. So, for a long time I thought like Return of the Jedi is just like a great, perfect ending. So it was formative in that way.
Home Alone. No, I guess that was only the first two.
Then there's the third one, and that came out later.
Yeah, much later.
Yeah.
So never mind. That wasn't
don't count that shit.
Yeah. Jurassic Park? Nope. You still would have seen Star Wars before the Jurassic Park trilogy.
The Land Before Time.
Yeah, Land Before Time.
There's like 25.
Sure, but there was like three.
The very first one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but talking about trilogies, though, right?
Sure.
Oh, I thought we were talking about just formative movies in our lives.
Nope. Wait,
there's a lot of those.
Yeah, I put that in my application to film school. Got me in.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Wow. So my one word is going to be
Star Wars.
That's too
merchandise.
Really?
Because the movie, much like all other Star Wars properties, its main focus is merchandise.
I feel like Episode 5 does a better job with merchandising.
I mean, I feel like the push currently for all of the Return of the Jedi merch is heavier and bigger than even the 40th for Empire Strikes Back. Like, they're doing these kind of cool pop-ups and, like, recreations of things from, like, 1983.
Fun fact, George Lucas was upset with how bad he did with the toy deals for the original trilogy, which is why when the prequels came out, there was stuff everywhere because he owned it.
He wanted more toys.
So he didn't own a lot of the merchandising for the first trilogy, I think, or something like that.
I thought he did sign the deal with, like, Mattel.
It was a bad deal, I think.
Yeah.
Something about the deal he got
He didn't like
He didn't
it.
get the money
was
he
awful.
wanted.
Yeah.
And so for the prequel trilogy, they made sure and got what
Okay,
they
so
wanted.
real quick, speaking about George Lucas tales and things, have you guys heard the real reason why Star Wars, the original trilogy, was re-released as like special edition Star Wars?
Because he had a hard-on for changing his own movies?
No, because he didn't want to pay his ex-wife any royalties. So
Damn.
what he did was,
What a spiteful
his
man.
ex-wife, this is a rumor. I don't know if this is true. Let me just re-emphasize, it's just something I saw on the internet, so take with a grain of salt. But the story goes, so his first wife was the original video editor, or film editor, right, for the original trilogy. And she was also a employee of whatever studio that was
Lucasfilm?
No, it wasn't Lucasfilm that did the original distribution. I want to say it
Oh,
was
it's Fox.
I
Fox
don't
did
feel
the
like it was
original
20th
distribution.
century.
Yeah, 20th century, something of that nature. So she was also an employee of that group or whatever, right? So when they came out to VHS and distribution, everybody that was part of it gets, X amount of royalties. Because they were also married and then they went through a divorce, there was also other X amount of royalties that get distributed, right? Because of legal reasons and him being created and so forth.
Yeah.
So he goes and creates the special edition, has Lucasfilm then distributed it, and then legally it's considered a brand new movie in terms where the previous royalties and deals and everything are completely
Christ.
redone, and therefore she's completely cut off from making any royalties there on out or whatever. That's the rumor. I don't know if it's true, but talk about Petty.
They also
know.
say that she saved Star Wars.
Yes.
So that's
With her
very
edits.
spiteful. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah. There's a few levels to that. Maybe the first lesson is like, be careful when you're making works of art or going into business with family. Isn't that like a thing, right? And because it could
Vin
go
Diesel-
south really bad. And,
Family.
Diesel said it's all about family.
well, don't do it.
Well, look how that turned out for him and his family. A lot of them are dead.
Wait, you're talking in the movie, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Fast and the Furious franchise.
I mean,
Yes.
the Jason Momoa it's about to wreck the rest. It sounds like in the latest one.
How will you choose?
Yes.
How will
he
he
looks so
choose?
over the top. I'm ready for it.
Are you actually seeing it?
I've only
in
seen
theater?
one. I want to. Yeah, I saw Hobbs and Shaw, and that was a good time.
But that felt like it was a nice one-off where you didn't need to know literally anything else about anything.
Ravi,
I
let me
don't.
gi- I'll give you-
But I get the.
Let me give you a little secret about the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh, please.
They're all one-offs.
Nice. So I can
It's-
watch this new one and I
Yeah.
don't need to know about the space adventure.
No,
Cool.
it's like serialized, right? It's like the same characters and it's like a new adventure each time.
But don't you want to know about the previous
Not
ones?
really.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
The last
Yeah.
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, the last one I saw was Tokyo Drift because I was a
What?
big Need for Speed fan, and that felt like they were very similar, and then that was about it.
All you need to know is people don't stay dead in this franchise.
I mean, that's
They
any
all
franchise.
come back.
Have you seen the Star
Good.
Wars franchise? Papa
Yeah.
Palpatine doesn't know when to just take
Darth
the knee.
Maul.
Ahsoka.
Guys, Owen Lars has been dead for a while. He's been crispy.
Wow.
He is probably one of the more finalized deaths in Star Wars history.
I still always think about that in the original Star Wars. You just see their like
crispy
corpse. I'm like, damn, this is so dark.
I mean, the rating system was wildly different back
was PG,
in the
wasn't it?
70s and 80s. Yeah,
That's nuts.
very, very different.
But you couldn't swear, right? It's like flipped.
yeah, violence was okay. Sexual scenes and things to a degree were more okay. But language was very much no.
Which is so weird.
But yeah,
to
it
me.
is definitely, I think, flipped now.
More
Which is
Yeah.
strange.
Or at least it's a moving needle all the time. It just
Yeah.
changes.
Really
Movie to
depends
movie,
on
year to
what
year.
Depends
the
on the
society
mood.
decides that decade.
Well, there's a board, right? They normally watch the movie and then they give the rating based.
The problem
off
though
of
is
some
the-
arbitrary.
Is it
system.
the MC motion
The MCU?
picture?
MPAA, Motion Picture Association Alliance. No,
Right.
I don't know what the A's stand for
America.
now.
Ass Alliance?
Motion Picture Association of America, I think.
But the problem though with that group is that they've been in the same like board and same group for like decades.
Oh, like the Supreme Court.
yeah. It's just not it's not healthy.
Ooh.
Anyways, thinking of things that are not healthy, Arjuna's obsession with DVDs and chapter
Oh,
listing.
no.
You know, this was
Are
a
you
DVD
serious?
at one point. I should have just
Yeah, they
pulled
were actually
the
it was a
original
it was a VHS tape with a chapter listing.
Yeah.
It was a DVD with a chapter listing. It was a laser disc with chapters and a Blu-ray with chapters.
Do we know if it was ever an HD DVD?
the Microsoft specific thing?
It probably was.
Yeah, you remember there was HD DVDs versus Blu-rays. and then
Right, that
Blu-rays
was the
went up.
Microsoft one.
Yeah.
Probably.
They were red. Their packaging was red. I remember.
Yeah. Oh, Christian,
Like a
I'm sorry, boring
maroon,
you?
yeah.
Yawning on us?
You don't like to talk about the
Well,
intricacies of next generation disc technology?
So here,
I think we should go back to
Ow.
discs.
because you are yawning, you're going to now do the DVD chapter listing, Krishna. And you're going to do it in the voice of an Ewok. Good luck with that.
So in a language that our viewers cannot understand.
You just have to be like cute with it.
How do they sound again? You go ahead,
Chub,
give me the
chub.
impression.
You sound more like the
Jawa?
no, like what's the race that was in Mandalorian and episode 9?
Frick?
The
Babu
mechanics,
Frick?
the little
Babu Frick.
No, but that's the character's name.
Nope, he's the name of the
begins
entire
with an
race.
A. Begins with
Yeah,
an A, I
the name of
believe.
the entire people.
The
is Babu Frick.
animatronics.
The Muppets. Got it.
Nope, the animatronics.
The Anzulans, the something I forget.
Anyways, I don't know if it's gonna sound like an Ewok. I'm just gonna
It's
try
fine.
and be a
It's
squeaky
fine.
little bear.
Again,
just be a squirrel.
we're going for cute and cuddly.
Yeah, but I'm not those things. Okay. Junior's DVD chapter listing for Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi.
Jedi.
The Book of Boba Fett opening sequence. OG Yoda takes a long nap. We're all one big happy family. A backup plan. Land of the Muppets. It's a trap. The Muppets win. He may have been your emperor, boy, but he wasn't your Darth. A funeral, a party, and a happy time until their psychotic offspring fucks it all up in a few years.
Christian, I'm going to give you a 4 out of 10.
Thank you.
It was too creepy.
That sounds about right.
It was not cute and cuddly. It was creepy and cautious.
Disturbing.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not. I got to brush up on my Ewok by watching Return of the Jedi again.
It's interesting. This also kind of leads into the next point here about like how, I think the big question that a lot of fans have, should Star Wars have ended there? And it's interesting that you made this DVD chapter list with like references to all of the new crap that's come out since, like right off the bat, the Book of Boba Fett, and then the psychotic, Ben Skywalker and
And the Muppets.
the Muppets. But I guess big question is like, do you all, when you look at what we've gotten since, do you feel we should have been like, fuck this, be done here?
No.
Oh, wow, that was definitive.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly when I learned that George Lucas had at least loosely outlined an episode 1, 2, and 3, and then 7, 8, and 9. And also the naming conventions of it being episode 4, 5, and 6. I think even when you first see it, you're like, it's episode 4, 5, and 6. It's like starting in the middle of something. And so just that naming convention alone, it's like it's an incomplete story. There's more to tell. Like in hindsight, they could have left it as it is and it would have been perfect and classic and a beautiful thing. But I think that you always get that sense, though, there's more to tell. It's a big galaxy. There's more story there. And just the way he named it. If he hadn't put episode 4, 5, and 6 in there, you're absolutely leave it alone. It's done, perfect. Wash your hands, walk away. That's not the way the world works, of course. Money speaks. So yeah, I think
Money speaks.
But
it was always destined to be more. Always.
to refine the question a bit better, would you have been okay if it ended at 6? So you would still get your 1, 2, and 3, but the ending is at 6. There is no 7, 8, 9. There is no Mandoverse.
Much better question.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say I would be quite satisfied with that. Because if you look at all the story before 6, if you end with 6, right, which is Luke bringing his father back to the dark side. The first 6 movies, to the light side.
I was gonna say, what do you?
Back to the,
The
dark
first-
side,
The first 6 movies establish this Jedi dogma, which is once you start down the dark path, you can never come back. You must be vigilant, which you must be vigilant, and you avoid all of these temptations and anger and pride and suffering and all that stuff. And Luke shows that you can bring someone back. I think that's a complete story. It's a wonderful story. You don't need much more than that. Everything else that happens after that is this other stuff that it's just I don't know. It's just weak sauce. That's what it is.
Weak sauce.
Narratively speaking.
I do think it's fascinating that like the different trilogies were all made, with a lot of time in between, right? Like, the original trilogy was the 70s and the early 80s, and prequel trilogy was the late 90s, early 2000s, and then the sequel trilogy was the, mid 2010s to late 2010s. And I guess in my brain, I've been able to separate like each of these trilogies because there's differences in time, and even differences in your own life, right? The original trilogy predates my existence, right? They weren't they.
I don't know why that's funny the way you said that.
They had already been out and well established and
Right.
were well like in pop culture by the time I came along and watched them and consumed them. They were these legendary things, right? They were like, these are things you have to watch. They're formative. The prequel trilogy came out when I was a literal child, right?
You still are.
Episode 1 was one of my favorite movies for a long time because it was made for me specifically as a 7-year-old. And I was like, wow, this is fun. Color, talking
Jar Jar Binks.
pod racing, scary devil man. Like this is cool. And so like I was a child when that prequel trilogy came out. And then sequel trilogy came out when I literally moved to LA. I was a young adult, post school and stuff. So it was one of the first like big franchise things as an adult in my life. So there's these easy kind of markers for me personally where I'm able to divide like this trilogy and this trilogy and this trilogy. And they almost feel different. There's just different feels to it, and there's different like reactions to it, and I kind of just feel like even the reaction to the trilogies at those times in my life are so different. Where as a young kid, I was confused why people hated the prequel trilogy because I was like, these are fun, and then as I got older, I kind of understood like this is not
People are dicks.
well, yeah, people are dicks, and like you can understand like this. It didn't age the best. It doesn't look the best. There's some things about it, but I still did enjoy it. I still do enjoy those movies, and I don't know, maybe that's the fondness of it all, that you can still enjoy some of the Star Wars stuff, even like Mandalorian. We were just talking about that a few weeks ago when it wrapped up, and there's still something about Star Wars, even if it doesn't have the same feel as that original stuff. There's something that I can still enjoy out of it, and maybe that's the fondness, the nostalgia of it all. But I think Christian's right. Like, there is something that is, and again, maybe this is because it was ingrained in me that, like, this is a classic, but it feels like a classic, right? There's something epic to this. There is this tangible quality of this is important and interesting. And even like to a degree, there's some of that with the prequel trilogy, but it's a little bit more personal because it's like, oh, I'm a kid again. I'm enjoying this and this, and I remember, this time in my life. I associate a lot of like art with memories and where I was at that time in my life. So there's a nostalgia to those that I haven't necessarily developed with the sequel trilogy yet because it is so recent in a lot of ways, right? It was only, Episode 9 came out not even 4 years ago at this point. So there is a little bit more freshness to it. And we're still in that Disney era where I think we are, because we're adults now, we're just more cynical. And we're like, Disney fucked it all up. And
there's a lot of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of it too, right? So maybe it takes away that special feeling. Even looking at the like release dates for the original Star Wars movies, they came out every 3 years, right? Like it was 77, 80, 83. And like even with the sequel trilogy, it was every 2 years, and now you have all these Disney Plus shows and et cetera, et cetera. So it's just a lot, like Christian said.
What's also wild too when you look at like time, because time is a funny thing. 83 is when the original trilogy ended. Mm-hmm. The new prequel trilogy started in 99. That's what, 16 years?
16 years, yeah.
And then that ends in 2005.
Yep.
And then 10 years later,
yeah,
10 years. So we went from 16-year break to just 10 quick years.
Yeah.
And then in 2 years, in 2025, that's 10 years since the first one.
For the original, the sequel trilogy.
The sequel trilogy ends. And now supposedly this new Rey film
Right.
is
It'll only
coming
be
out.
6 years after the end of
Yeah.
so the time is shrinking.
Shrinking
This
like
unique one.
exponentially, which is, I think it's a bad thing because again, it doesn't let it sit in pop culture and soak like the way that episodes 4, 5, and 6 was able to just sit there and get references into everything like Simpsons and on late night shows. Everyone was making reference to Star Wars, so that sucks. It's over. It is over. It's over.
No,
We're done.
because the nice thing is that where we're at right now is kind of this inevitable thing of capitalism, but you will always have the original trilogy. Like it'll always be there. You can put it on. You want something classic. You want something that you want to watch something before Disney got a hold of it. The trilogy is there. Go watch it.
It's funny you say that because I don't,
exists.
I don't think that's going to be the case forever, though. And what I mean by that is we've very much shifted physical media to a digital medium, like digital media, right? I don't buy any movies in physical hard copies ever. And even the last physical digital copy are Blu-rays, which go into a Blu-ray player, which is connected to the internet. I'm not saying this has been done, but it is possible to disable those Blu-rays from ever being played again, right?
Oh, I see
By
what you're
disabling the Blu-ray player that connects to the internet. If for whatever reason, let's say Disney was like, you know what, we're going to do the literal lock the content behind the vault for X amount of years, and then just strip it off the internet or adjust it in whatever way that they see fit, right? Like
They would actually be doing the franchise a favor, because then the only way you can watch the original trilogy is if you find a VCR or you find an old DVD player in a pawn shop, you buy the DVD or you still have it. And if they did that, you might see like a revival almost of classic media, which wouldn't be a bad thing necessarily.
Just so you guys are aware, for when the world inevitably ends, I have the original trilogy on VHS somewhere
Boom.
here.
Here's a
Boom.
follow-up question. Do you have a VHS player?
I don't, and I'm just realizing that, so I'm going to invest in one.
Yeah, find it.
And then I need to invest in like
power generator?
composite cables to some kind of HDMI adapter, because like any modern day TV just has HDMI.
Right.
I might get away with S video, but that should be in the emergency kit for like the end of the world.
We must preserve Star Wars.
Yeah.
Sire, which one should
Like
we
a
preserve?
little tube TV, like a little like
Well,
yeah.
there's just so it's the non-special edition VHS tapes. So it's the original theatrical.
Oh,
cut,
fuck yeah.
yeah,
So Han
The
shot
good
first.
cut.
the good cut, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
the good cut.
The unmuddled cut, the unmolested cut.
Well, it's funny, we started out the pod by letting everyone know, Return of the Jedi is back in theaters, but it's the Blu-ray version. So it's the version where you have Hayden at the very end, and not the original Darth Vader actor, who unfortunately I do not remember the name of.
He's in the cat. He's in our outline.
Is it the
right
original?
here. David. So the original actor who played Anakin in the thing was Sebastian Shaw.
Oh, gotcha. And yeah, David Prowse actually played Vader.
Was the
Was the
stand-in
actual Vader.
for
Yeah.
the Vader, and then James Earl Jones was the voice actor.
Who
That's
again
crazy.
has already signed the digital recreation of his iconic voice for a variety of characters. He's given in to whatever studio. and
Oh, for
given
like Mufasa as
it.
well.
I believe so. Yeah.
For Lion King. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna do one, if he's got a bunch of voices under Disney, you might as well.
He should like
Sign
sell
them
them
all
off to
over,
different
right?
studios.
Yeah, create like a clusterfuck.
So Mufasa to I don't know, DreamWorks.
Universal
Doesn't even make
Studios
sense.
now owns.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Now we have to talk about, it's 40 years. So there's been 40 years of extra content in Star Wars, right? Before the Disney stuff, there was a ton of expanded universe. There was the Dark Empire trilogy comic book that came out a couple of years ago that talks about what 7, 8, and 9 would have looked like, where Luke is kind of borderline Dark Jedi and Palpatine is fully cloning himself. There's obviously been the Mandoverse, and the Mandoverse has given us, interesting new beloved characters, such as, Grogu, Ahsoka,
Din.
Thrawn. Djarin.
Din Djarin.
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 Din Grogu.
So I guess the question is like when you watch this movie, episode 6, Return of the Jedi, your mind probably is like, where's Grogu? Where's Ahsoka? What are they doing? Like, do you have any theories? Because and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it's been laid out yet specifically where and what they're doing.
Yeah.
I will say, like, for the crew of the Ghost from Star Wars Rebels, we know based off of Sabine's like closing dialogue, they stay on Lothal to protect it, but nothing ever happened. So we know that they're kind of in that area.
Right.
But we also know that Hera doesn't necessarily stay there because we see the Ghost in like Rogue One
Or Zeb.
or Zeb, yeah.
Because we know Zeb at
Joined
least
at some point.
At least in the Mandalorian
Mandalorian,
joins the New Republic.
Right.
And is a fighter pilot.
So I guess the question, what do you guys think Grogu's doing, or Ahsoka, or Thrawn?
I bet Disney has thought about this and wants to do supplementary stuff because, I have a few like colleagues and friends and whatnot who have like young kids, and they're showing them like the original trilogy, right? After having seen like Mandalorian and some of the stuff with Grogu. And that's a pretty common question with kids, like, where's Grogu? Like,
Why is Grogu so
why
old
is
looking?
Grogu so old, right? So I'm sure Disney being the current studio that's in charge of this IP and always thinking of how to expand everything and answer every question and merchandising and shows and movies and stuff is like, at some point, there's 50 years of Grogu stuff you can do even before he shows up in The Mandalorian, if they so chose. I don't know if that's the best idea, but I'm sure there are plans that are being written, and maybe there is like a way to quote unquote redo the original trilogy, do it through the eyes of Grogu.
That would be fascinating if you did like a new trilogy and it was through like the Mandoverse characters.
Right,
Like, what are they doing during? Because we know, right, there are multiple battles and things happening against the Empire. It's not just the Luke Skywalker and friends story.
Right, and I'm sure, there's always been rumors since Disney bought Star Wars. Is like, will they remake the original trilogy? Will they do this, do that, and whatever? And maybe that's one way they kind of remake it, is show the events that are well known from a different perspective through characters that you're really popularizing right now, and will sell more toys.
That's like the Dave Filoni movie. It's not really a closeout on the Mando. It's like a prequel that takes place during the course of the events of the original trilogy.
Oh my god,
That'd be pretty intense. That'd be weird. That'd be like the Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul,
And like you're seeing what all of these characters were doing before the events of Breaking Bad.
right? And then even during some of Breaking Bad too.
Crazy. That's a fun little exercise of like what if. Another fun exercise was Harrison Ford, right? Wanted George Lucas to end Han Solo's character.
Yeah, I think there's been varying degrees of how much he asked, but there was one interview I think where Harrison Ford's like, I begged him to kill me.
Come on, do it. Don't be a baby.
And then he didn't, obviously, and then that caused him to be able to come back for the sequel trilogy, where his
Son kills him.
but that was the way he agreed to come back, is that Han Solo had to die.
That's morbid as
So when J.J. Abrams came, it's like, I'll come back, but Han Solo needs to die.
Love that.
Why would you love that?
Because I don't know. There's just something, Harrison Ford is like an American treasure.
Treasure?
And,
Treasure.
treasure. I don't know
Treasure.
why my
Boston?
others come out like that. Treasure. He's like a treasure. And there's just, there's something like kind of lovable about him just being like, he doesn't really want to do it. And he's like, you know what? I'll do it if you kill him. If you kill this character, that's funny. That's hilarious.
That's funny to me.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I laughed at
He's been doing some press for the new indie movie, and he's like, "This is it. I am never coming back to this role."
I mean,
That's interesting.
I'm shocked that he agreed to do this, indie movie if they're not going to kill him. Right?
Wait, doesn't it shock you more though that he's in a Marvel movie coming up? and he's playing
That
like,
is
a
shocking.
prominent character. Like he's not some side character. Like,
But you gotta get paid, right? You still,
I wonder if
Still
it's
need
like
money.
I wonder if like Harrison Ford's like I'm a little tired of being just known for these like iconic roles, but like Christian said, I want to get paid. I want some money. And who pays the most right now? It's like Disney for these Marvel roles, and like he's doing the streaming stuff. He's doing that Yellowstone spinoff. He just did Shrinking on Apple TV. So like Harrison Ford is working right now, like capital W.
But
He's showing up. In a
you've
lot of
seen
stuff.
Shrinking, right?
Yeah.
He plays himself.
Yeah, but that's not acting.
That's all he should ever
not
play.
That's literally like
He's
show
Harrison
up, show up
Ford.
to set and be angry.
He doesn't need to.
So
be
what I'm
anything
saying
else.
is, I mean, I'm completely guessing here, but like, he's doing a lot of acting roles because he's getting paid to do them. He's clearly like getting a lot of money from all of these roles right now.
He does like Han Solo more than he lets on, but he is right. He should have died in the carbonite on Empire Strikes Back. That was his whole argument. Is that
Yeah.
he should have been? That should have been his death.
Right.
Oh, instead of being frozen, just
Yeah, that should
executed?
just done.
it's a children's story. That's so
Well,
dark.
But it's so true to how it should go. And he
Sure.
shot first.
And Harrison Ford has always said, and like Michael said, he does like the character a little bit more, but he always felt like Han Solo was not the character that should end up with the girl and the happy ending. Like that was, and that's why he's like, this character should die. Like that should be the whole arc of this character. He starts off as this scoundrel who's all for himself and potentially goes and dies a heroic death, but he shouldn't just have like the happily ever after type of thing. Like he should kind of go, that should be his full arc.
Did you see Mando season 3?
Yeah.
We
Star
all
Wars
did.
is all about happy endings. It's like a massage parlor.
Oh no.
Wow. Hey, wow.
So I recently found out that maybe this isn't true, but according to Lucas or Spielberg, Harrison Ford is who talked them into doing the fourth Indiana Jones.
The one that's coming out, or Crystal
the
Skull?
one-
No,
King
Crystal
Skull.
Skulls.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, they were done. Spielberg, of course, was done because
Right.
in Last Crusade they ride off into the sunset. But my understanding recently is that Harrison Ford was the one like, hey guys, let's do another indie film.
He was looking to expand
More money.
his Malibu home.
Yeah.
I need it.
Or he
down the
did-
house.
It's
or
gonna
he-
come out. It's actually gonna come out that it was Harrison Ford's idea to do a whole sequel trilogy to Star Wars. This seems like we're just gonna buy this and we're gonna do some supplementary stuff. He's like, guys, here's my pitch.
Harrison Ford is the puppet master. Well, that's a twist.
And it's all
Not many
because he's
people
just
would
like,
guess.
I need a little bit more. I need
He,
more
he
money.
just he did too much acid in his Malibu home, and it was
Probably.
like, that is shocking. The Indiana Jones thing is shocking.
I think he really likes that character, though.
Yeah.
I think that is maybe one of his favorites.
Indy?
Yeah.
Indy.
I don't want to speak for the great
Understandably.
Harrison Ford, but
The great
I will
Harrison
speak.
We have
for
Michael
Harrison
Lehrman
Ford.
here, who is our proxy for Harrison Ford. What did Harrison Ford have for breakfast this morning, Michael?
Grapefruit and a bowl of granola.
Okay,
That
interesting.
seems legit, to be
seems
honest.
right.
Like, he's what, 78 or 9, like 80
He's
or
in
something?
his 70s, yeah.
He's
in the
old.
70s, Yeah.
Old AF.
Do you remember that movie he was in the early 2000s?
Heart to heart.
No, it's like a psycho thriller horror, and it like turns out he has like a
He's
wife.
yeah.
Oh, What
he's
Lies
the
Beneath.
bad guy. Yeah,
That's What Lies
yeah,
Beneath.
yeah.
Great
Love
movie.
it.
Yeah.
that movie
Great
scared
movie.
me for a long
That
time.
movie's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Because Harrison
He
Ford
was good. He was really good in that. I was like, I'm scared.
Yeah,
of
it
this.
really
Fantastic.
revolutionized a lot of digital photography too. They did a lot of they were aiming for Hitchcockian stuff, and so
Yeah.
they had all these oneers where they come in on from an aerial into the actual car itself, and that was really the beginning of some of those.
That's cool.
Pre-drones.
No drones.
No drones.
Yeah,
drones.
pre-drones.
Wow,
That's what I'm saying.
that's impressive.
It's crazy. What other Harrison Ford films? Oh,
Air
Air
Force
Force
One.
One.
Air Force One's
Get
a
off
classic.
my plane.
Isn't he working on a sequel allegedly for that as well? That's
Air
the,
Force
that,
2.
That's what I read. I read that. Maybe I'm making that
Air
up. Maybe
Force
it's like
One,
a fake
2.
internet rumor, but I heard that he's currently working.
That feels like one of
and
those jokes.
attached
That's like
to
one of those
a
jokes where it's like
sequel to Air
Harrison
Force
Ford's
One.
just going to go and kill all of his characters. Like, that feels like someone's doing a deep cut, like, we're going to find old movies of Harrison Ford and be like, oh, this one's getting a sequel or whatnot.
Maybe he's just like, I need money. I need to act again. I'm gonna do everything.
Blade Runner.
Oh yeah, he did Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, but his character
Blade
survived,
Runner.
right? Yeah.
At the
Ryan
end of
Gosling
2049?
doesn't.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling.
Spoiler.
Whoopsie.
No, you came here for Jedi, but get spoilers for 2049 instead.
What other movie? Yeah, what are some of his other classic movies? What's that war movie he did?
It was called War. What is
No.
it good for?
I forget.
What war? Now you got me curious. What war movie are you talking about?
I'll look it up.
No, don't look it up.
Oh, The Fugitive. That's another one.
Yeah, The Fugitive is great. I remember watching that. He had like one with
Isn't he Jack Ryan? Is that the Jack Ryan? movie?
Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger were his two Jack Ryan
The
films.
Call of the Wild. Do you guys remember that one?
Never watched it.
That's a 2020 film where he goes on some kind of backpacking, hiking, ice adventure and gets separated, I guess, and a doggy has to save him.
Call of the Wild is a
I
classic
never saw
book.
it.
Have you never read it?
No, I don't read books.
Oh man, it's
Reading
so
is for
good.
losers.
So good.
Apocalypse Now was the movie I was thinking.
Oh, that war movie.
That war movie.
Quintessential war
Wait,
Is
which
he in that?
movie?
Yeah, he's
Oh
Colonel
yeah,
Lucas.
he is. I just
He's
watched
he's
that
not
for
a
the first
big
time.
role.
Oh, that's right.
But
Yeah.
No, he's in it.
definitely
He's in it
What
for
a
30 seconds, literally.
Yeah.
What a thing to remember him.
It was an
Like, of
impactful.
all the
It
people
was an
in that.
impactful thing. It was an impactful role. And then I've never
I mean,
seen
he stands
it. but
out a lot.
He's in the other George Lucas classic, American Graffiti.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen. But
Me
I've heard
neither.
It's good.
You've never seen American? I haven't either, so I don't want to talk about it.
You've never seen
I don't
it?
think
Harrison
I've
Ford
seen it.
proxy, Michael Learman.
American.
All right, let's bring it back here. I don't know how we got into the Harrison
we're talking about
Ford
Han-
appreciation
We're
pod.
talking about Han Solo and his death.
Because Harrison Ford is amazing.
He just plays himself, which is nice.
Let us interview you, Harrison.
Yeah, for real.
Harrison.
I'd be afraid to interview that man.
I would too. It would have to be someone else. I couldn't do it.
I'll do it.
I would be like,
I'd probably be like, yeah, go for it. You do it.
I heard you.
yeah, our Harrison Ford proxy will
But-
interview Harrison Ford.
Right. And Limmer, you have to present yourself at, hi, I'm Harrison Ford's proxy here with Harrison Ford. And just see how he'll probably punch you in the face.
Oh my God, yeah.
He'd be like, get off.
Do you ever see?
Like Arrested
last
Development.
Harrison Ford anecdote. Did you ever see the David Blaine?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where he's doing the magic trick in Harrison Ford's house.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford looks like he's just like, get the fuck out of my house. I was like, that's the most Harrison Ford moment of any Harrison Ford. From any movie, that is the most Harrison Ford.
Brilliance of Harrison
That
Ford
or-
is no one really knows who Harrison Ford is.
Does Harrison Ford know who Harrison Ford is?
He might not.
He's a magic hating, plane wrecking badass.
He has wrecked a few planes in his
does.
life.
Get
the fuck out of my house.
That was like, what, 2016 or 17? He crashed a plane in Malibu?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Like, what the fuck?
Hasn't he crashed a couple?
Yeah.
Two or
But I
three
think
times.
the more recent one was like
He
17.
needs to stop drinking
Didn't
and
he
flying.
also get really, really injured on the set of Force Awakens because like the door like closed on his leg or something and like
I don't know about that, but he was super injured on Indy 5.
yeah.
And on
they
Force
shut down
Awakens.
production for a minute.
Force Awakens, I think his injury also caused like
His
a big
ankle.
production shut down.
Jeez.
Yeah. Good times.
Stop doing your own stunts, bro.
He is the anti Tom Cruise.
Basically. I can do my own stunts. Sure, I break some bones,
But wait,
but I still do them.
Tom Cruise
Tom
also
Cruise
gets
broke
heavily
his
injured.
foot.
Yeah.
also.
Every Mission Impossible, he has a major injury that shuts down production. Because he's like, I will do the motorcycle and jump off of it and parachute.
It's the only reason he makes them.
Probably. He's like, how can I get other people to pay for these stunts that I want to do?
I'm an adrenaline junkie.
We'll make a movie around it.
I mean, it's
I
good
think so.
marketing material, though.
He's like,
Like,
that was
Oh,
probably
it's
the reason he wanted to make
fantastic
a
marketing
Top Gun
material.
sequel. He's like, I want to fly a fighter.
I thought he just wanted to like show people that you can be in your 60s and ripped.
The best part of that movie is like, I will teach the new generation. You have to do it yourself. Well, all right.
All right, then. Let me just do it
all
myself.
right. I can do it.
Fucking A. All right, I think it's that time. As always, I'll start so that Dad thinks that I'm mad at you, Arjuna.
Nice.
Arjuna, what's Return of the Jedi?
Return of the Sith?
Oh boy.
Was Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Upon viewing it 40 years later, even though you weren't alive 40 years ago.
Or was I?
Good.
Do-do-do-do.
Reincarnation.
Yeah, it was good. You know, it is a classic, and I enjoy it. It always brings me happiness. You know, it's of a different time, a different era of Star Wars,
A relic.
a relic. And I liked it. Yes.
Nice.
Krishna, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Was Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi George Lucas's fourth cut of the movie good?
What kind of stupid fucking question? Of course it was good. Why are we even have to ask that
Now
question?
rank all
Yeah,
of
it's
the
great.
cuts.
Rank the cuts. No. It's a great movie. I still enjoy it, and no more needs to be said than that. Rafi, was Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi good?
What kind of stupid ass question is that?
I want you to say no.
I was about to say no because I really do hate the Ewoks, but no, it was good. There's classic moments of good versus evil. Probably the most. I had this question asked, like, what's your favorite lightsaber duel of all time? And I have said that it's the Maul versus Obi.
The
in
Phantom
Rebels.
Menace. Oh, the Rebels one.
Yeah, just because it's like it's a beautiful end to a crazy love story. But like the Luke Palpatine Vader one is still like that's also just
Oh,
a
you really
really
enjoy that
good
one.
lightsaber fight because it is very much good versus evil and corruption in between trying to fuck it all up, and it's very beautifully done.
What's the worst lightsaber duel
Of all
Star
time?
Wars?
Whenever I play the new Jedi Survivor game and I try and swing the lightsaber,
Oh
You
god,
laugh,
I love
but
that
it's a
answer.
because there's
Anytime I try to use a lightsaber, it's the worst lightsaber.
There's like 5 levels of difficulty. There's story mode where it's just like you can run and be done quickly. There's Padawan, Jedi Knight, Jedi Master, and then Grandmaster. And on Grandmaster, the damage from the enemies is like maximum, like to the point where like 2 or 3 bolts will kill you.
Like a blaster shot will legitimately.
It's like real. It's like if it was real.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you were, 2
I do-
blaster bolts would probably kill.
I do want to find someone on Twitch because I'm sure there's people out there that are playing it at the Grandmaster level because I'm sure it's fucking amazing to watch. But I tried it just for a minute.
Couldn't do
Not
it.
for me.
Classic.
Very difficult.
Nice.
And that's going to do it for us here on Was It Good? Our next podcast is going to be on Star Wars Visions Volume 2, dropping May 4th.
May the
As-
4th be with you.
As always, you can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Was It Good Pod, and on Twitter, if you still use it, at Was It Good. Our full podcasts are on youtube.com/wasitgood, and check out our website, wasitgood.info. Till next time, live long and prosper.
Harry.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Elon didn't pay for our verification.